Welcome back to Dave's Garage. This is part 3 of the Kobalt Work Bench turned into a tool cart, turned into, I'm not sure what I can even call this anymore. In the past, I've gone through a chronological order of building stuff, step by step, phase by phase. And because this project, some of you out there are going to wonder, like, what's wrong with this guy? I mean, he's spending like his life playing around with a workbench. But for me, it became kind of a fun project. I had most of the materials, didn't have to buy a whole lot, wasn't expensive, and I had some time on my hands, so I spent the last week playing around. So for this part, I'm going to kind of flip it on its ear. We're going to do a walk around. The Kobalt cart is done, and I'm going to walk around. I'm just going to show you a bunch of stuff. It's going to involve the remaining project parts. It's going to involve some classic rock and maybe even a little trickery. So we're going to get right into it. The cart slash bench has turned into, I guess, a work of art, something like that. This goes beyond a workbench, goes beyond a work cart, tool cart. And I'm going to try to keep it nice, but when you use workbenches for actual work, this is as nice as it's ever going to be. So with that, I went ahead and got some magnetic strips, magnetic tool holders, magnetic pans, magnetic part holders, and you've already seen the top in prior installments. Here's my knockdown table side. Got that done. Also, these are my doors. They're going to look a lot like everything else. And a few tricks up my sleeve. I've got some special hinges. You just let them go. Got some stops on them. Both do the same thing. I got got a special device back there in the corner. It's called a subwoofer. And got the light on, eye level. Had to go with a little piece of wood here to keep the light from just right in my eyes. So around the back, got some really nicely done cable management, power cord, more cable management. Here I've got the special device, and we're going to turn something on. You didn't hear that. Anybody hear of the group Chicago? Love it. So let's roll. Got to turn that off, or I'm going to get a strike. I have a stereo with subwoofer. I forgot I even had this system. So then the little speakers are up here. This is some kick butt stuff. It's actually many years old. Acoustic Research, little three-way. And the subwoofers back there in the corner. The whole system's rated like at 70 watts. And then on to some trickery. Look here. And what shall appear is a full-size 5-inch Irwin bench vise. It's on a quick release frame or adapter. Everything's held in place with removable, I call these thumb screws or thumb nuts, clamp nuts. There's different names for them. But this thing is stout. It's on there. And I chose this for a number of reasons. We'll get into it. So stay tuned. We're going to have some fun with this one. A lot of progress has been made. Let me bring you along and show you what I've done. I've made the decision for this flooring, this 3 1/4 inch flooring, to be just bolted down. So in the future, if I ever need to take it off, then I just simply take out these bolts. These are, again, these are button head, flanged, cap screw, or cap head for Allen wrenches. So I just put one in each of the rows here, and one in each of the rows here. And for some of these, I've even, some of these holes that I'm using, I'm just reusing. This thing is kind of a rector set. It's got, you know, already ready-made holes everywhere. So how I've decided to go ahead and mount the tilt down side table is just using more floor. I use the existing holes, and again, just use the same flange button head screws, just shorter. I have a whole variety of these things. I mean, about every 1/4 inch longer. So I just, from all my projects I've been working on with my motorcycle, I'm rich with free stuff to use. So I've used these same holes. You know, I take the existing screws out, the black screws here, and just go ahead and put longer screws in that kind of all match, because I kind of standardize on that style of screw. So now the only thing I've got left to do is, of course, I got to mount these, but this is going to be a little tricky. I got to make sure that I'm exactly where I need to be. All these are the pieces that I cut off. This is row 7 here. I have to make sure that when I'm done, everything's going to, you know, line up vertically perfectly like that. As long as you just take into consideration that plywood's going to be there. And then, of course, these, I'll try to hold this and talk, walk, and chew gum. This is number 7 here. Whoops. Just so you can tell that the grain lines up. So when I'm done, it's going to look like this with those brackets underneath. So everything is, you know, here it's all about vertical height. You have to be right on vertically. So this has to be right on with the rest of the bench. This plywood has to be right on with the other sheet of plywood that's now, you know, underneath here, that's kind of disappeared. And that, of course, is sitting on top of that MDF. So I've got like 1 5/8 inches of bench top now. I mean, this thing's getting pretty beefy. 1 5/8, I think, with the stack up. So I'm done adding to that. So that's all I've got left to do. I shouldn't say all. I mean, this has been, I've been at it here for a few hours today, but I'm going to just keep on going until I get this pretty much wrapped up. So anyway, this is like a 1 foot. I'm trying to just stay in easy increments, 1 foot of additional shelf space. And all these will be cut at, you know, 12 inches, because I've got the whole stack over here. These are all my cutoffs, all 7 of them. Got them all numbered, so they all go back the way they came off. And they'll be screwed into here. I haven't decided what kind of screws I'm going to use yet. I could use more of those, but I don't know. We're just winging it as we go, but I'm really thrilled with progress. This thing is, you know, it's really shaping up. The next major, I guess, phase is going to be get the drawers back in, and then I'm actually going to make, I've decided I'm going to make 2 cupboard or cabinet doors that fit on, you know, left and right side. Again, I'm going to use what I've got to work with. These legs here have a nice, you know, flat spot for hinges, and I've got plenty. I think I'm just going to use the same wood. I've got plenty of it left. Got, you know, stacks of it over there. So I'm going to keep plugging and chugging. Be back with you when I get more progress. One last quick update. I think I showed that before. And this is my latest, where I'm using the exact same wood, the flooring, tilt up, or kind of like a drop leaf. And that turned out well. I used more flooring down here for the support for the hinges, the drop leaf hinges. There's 2 of them under there. And all you do is just snap click it up. Looks nice. The only thing left now, which will be the final frontier, is putting 2 doors on the front of this. So that's it, and I'll update you when I'm getting going on those doors. Sort of in chronological order that I showed you. The first installment was to get the back pegboard all set up. A lot of this came from Harbor Freight, Amazon, I believe, no. Harbor Freight, Amazon, just put some tools on it to get started. The next thing I did was the doors. These were a bit of a challenge. I made sure that I tried to maximize the size of the door, same configuration as the top, and my drop leaf boards backed by a piece of plywood. You kind of have to do that, or these things, or unless you glue them down or glue them together or something. I didn't want to do a lot of gluing. That'd take forever. Plywood's cheap, so then a lot more screws or bolts, whatever you want to call them. And I had previous history with these adjustable automatic closing hinges, and to keep everything nice and straight, I had to use some spacers in here. I'll put some links, I think, to some of this stuff. These hinges come in real handy. They're meant for like a screen door. You know, it's like your screen door always closes because people will leave it open. And then these handles are just from Home Depot. But try to stay with the stainless or brushed nickel look on everything. These took some time to put in here. It really did. But everything from my old workbench fits inside. Plus the, moving on, plus the subwoofer. Again, it's the Acoustic Research 3-piece unit. I've had that since probably, it's 20 years old. Easy, I forgot I had it. I didn't even use it. It was just tossed in the corner until I, decided to put it on here. And I need to make sure that the credit for a sound system on a workbench goes to one of my viewers. In part 2, he chimed in and said, "Hey, how about a kicking sound system?" And at first I thought, nah, I'm not going to do that. And I thought, why not? So good idea, implemented, well done. Didn't have to buy a thing. This here is a Microsoft Zune MP3 player I've had for way back, and it's a really nice unit. It holds more music than I will be able to listen to for years. It's got a 120 gigabyte hard drive in it, and it is full. So then on to the last treasure. This is a Irwin 5-inch bench vise. 5-inch is the width of the jaws, and this little guy does its own little tricks. It rotates, and this side here has all the pipes for anything round, for vertical, holding onto something vertical, horizontal, and rotates back around. This is a really nice unit. This is like probably the nicest vise I've ever owned. And what I did is I came up with a kind of a stack of plywood. To make this work, I had to add another piece of wood over here and kind of some stitchery, a lot of little screws to hold it in. And then I used 3 what they call threaded inserts. I happen to have one spare. This little guy here is threaded on the inside, and below these 3 nuts, like coming in from the other side, you can kind of see this one right here. That's the tail end of it, like that. You just pound them in so you get the right size drill bit, and then you go from this side, and then this side, of course, you just drill the size of these thumb screws, which they just spin right off. They're just 1/4 20s. I chose to do another little round of standoffs because I had them, no charge. These thumb screws here I actually had. I already had them, didn't have to buy a thing. Leftover plywood, didn't have to buy a thing. I had to buy these. I didn't have the threaded inserts. So you take all 3 of these off, and I guess we can do that. And then I've got, oops, Then I can kind of just slide this back and show you. Slide this back without killing. Oh, it's on rubber. I got a sheet of rubber underneath it, so it's not going to be able to slide back. At least not very easy. Yeah, I'm back with you. So the only hole I had to drill or have in the top of this, you know, kind of fancy top here, the tool cart, is one hole here. The theory is I've got one stationary contact point here, and then I've got two on the ends. And that's going to allow me some pretty good strength, you know, kind of like fore and aft. And then kind of like some yaw here is going to have some strength because of the length of this. And this is going through pretty much about half of this 1 5/8 stack up through this hard ash. So I mean, this is going to take a real beating. So if you have any questions or whatever, leave them below. I've intentionally kept this kind of short. The part 1, part 2 were pretty long in the tooth, and beginning of part 3 is also pretty long, where I explain all the concept of the wood and the drop leaf, and hinted towards the doors. Doors are made the same way, with the exception of, you know, the hinges that are pretty cool. They're adjustable. You can make them so they close just the way you want. And I actually had a couple little pieces of rubber feet and a little piece of angle iron. Again, I had all this stuff just down in the shop. I've got, you know, a lot of little parts down there, free of charge. And I put some cardboard in here just for the time being to keep that metal from being all scratched up. Why? Because I had free cardboard. And so there you have it. Now I just got to outfit my drawers here with all the stuff I want to keep up here. Typical project for me is keep it simple, keep it inexpensive, and try to design something that can be followed by others, and provide you with just a plethora of ideas, including Harbor Freight paper towel holder. So when you don't want to look at the paper towel, it's gone. And there'll be more stuff put up in there. There's still plenty of room besides the 2 little speakers and the roll of paper towels. So this is a fun project. This is way over the top. I understand that. Like I said, some of my viewers are going to say, like, what's wrong with this guy? He's nuts. But some will also say, wow, this guy's got some talent, maybe, and some imagination. Check out some of my other videos. This is like a little side project. This whole thing is just a break in the action from all my videos that I have on my Kawasaki Versys X300. I've got to have at least 20 videos on that, and I go into a lot of modifications, a lot of detail on accessorizing, modifying the accessories, beefing up accessories, putting that bike that was never meant to be put on a motorcycle jack, which is covered up at the moment, which that was another side project, completely refurbed vintage Craftsman motorcycle jack, and floor motorcycle jack, and that thing looks as pretty as this thing. So anyways, on to something else. Have a good day, and thanks for stopping in, and we'll see you on the next one.